Yes. Viendo?
Flor, I was about to say, Flor's missing. Good morning.
No, I'm here. I'm here. Good morning.
Tomorrow?
She's turning 18. No.
Do we?
No, I think
So you're not really.
yeah. I think we're all here. And we can start. So chapter 4. You ready? Yeah. Yeah, I'll wait for you. Chapter 4.
Did you say chapter 4, Erica?
Seven through 9.
Is it chapter 7 through 9?
Yeah.
7 through 9.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I don't know why I was thinking it was chapter 4. Chapter. Starting with willpower. Yes, it is. So willpower is always on will call. So let's start with that willpower part. Okay. So we do have a video to show on willpower. Robert, do you want to explain the video? You can share the screen.
It's on that movie Facing the Giants. Have you guys seen that one? Okay. Well, it's about this high school football team. They're getting ready. They're in practice, and the coach is telling them, that they're about to have this big game, and for them to be prepared. And one of the students is saying, "Well, they're just much bigger than us. I don't know if we're even going to win. What's the point?" So he has this defeated mentality, kind of, and the coach starts to talk to him and try to motivate him, and then he gives him this little training things to do. So you'll see it part of it.
You'll see it.
It'll go through it.
And I think it illustrates what he's saying in the book, which says that willpower is not always on call, and you have it for only short periods of time. And sometimes it is spent, it's depleted. Or it could be certain things that happen that cause your willpower to just completely not be there. And I know I can relate to it when things happen. And in real estate, sometimes it happens when your deal falls apart, or something didn't go right with the negotiations, and it can kind of just bring your willpower all the way down. So let's watch this video.
I see this.
You seen it?
Yeah. So, Coach, how strong is Westview this year? Not stronger than we are. You already ripped Friday night down as a loss, bro. Well, not if I know we could beat them. Come here, bro. You do, Jeremy. What am I bubbling out? Not yet. I want to see you do the death crawl again, except I want to see your absolute best.
Oh, I have to. Again, but what is
What, you want to go to 30?
Okay.
I can go to 50. I can go to 50 if nobody's on my back. I think you can do it with Jeremy on your back. But even if you can, I want you to promise me you're going to do your best. All right? Your best. Okay. You're going to give me your best. I'm going to give you my best. All right, one more thing. I want you to do it blindfolded. Why? Because I want you to give it up at a certain point when you feel further. Get down. Jeremy, get on his back. Get tight hold, Jeremy. All right. Let's go, bro. Keep your knees off the ground, just your hands and feet. There you go. A little bit left. A little bit left. There you go. Give me a good effort. All right, Brock. Keep coming. There you go. It's a good start. A little bit left. A little bit left. There you go, Brock. Good strength. That's it, Brock. That's it. 20 yet? Get to 20. You give me your best. You keep going. That's it. Now, don't stop, Brock. You got more in you than that.
Just rest a second.
You got to keep moving. Let's keep moving. Let's go. Don't quit till you got nothing left. There you go. Keep moving. Keep moving. Keep moving, Brock. That's it. You keep driving. Keep your knees off the ground. Keep driving. Your very best. Your very best. Your very best. Keep moving, Brock. That's it. That's it. That's it. Keep going. Don't quit on me. Keep going. Keep driving. Keep driving. Keep your knees off the ground. That's it. Your very best. Don't quit on me. Your very best. Keep driving. Keep driving. There you go. There you go. That's it. You keep driving. Keep your knees off the ground. Keep driving. Don't quit till you got nothing left. Keep moving, Brock. That's it. That's it. That's it. Keep going. I want everything you got. Come on. Keep going. Hurts. Don't quit on me. Your very best. Keep driving. Keep driving. There you go. There you go. It's heavy. I know it's heavy. And you negotiate with your buddy to find more strength, but don't you give up on me, Brock. You keep going. You hear me? You keep going. You're doing good. You keep going. You not. Keep going. I know it hurts. You keep going. You keep going. It's all hard from here. 30 more steps. You keep going, Brock. Come on. Keep going. It's let it burn. It's all hard. You keep going, Brock. Come on. Come on. Keep going. You promised me your best. Your best. Don't stop. Keep going. It's not too hard. You keep going. Come on, Brock. Give me more. Give me more. Keep going. 20 more steps. 20 more. Keep going, Brock. Give me your best. Don't quit. No. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Don't quit. Don't quit. Don't quit. Brock Kelly, you don't quit. Keep going. Keep going. No, Brock Kelly, you don't quit on me. No, you keep going. You keep going. No, Brock. 10 more steps. 10 more. 10 more. 10 more. Keep going. Don't quit. Give me your heart. You can. You can. 5 more. 5 more. Come on, Brock. Come on. Don't quit. Don't quit. Come on, Brock. 2 more. 1 more. Look at Brock. You're in the end zone. Brock, you are the most influential player on this team. If you walk around defeated, so will they. Don't tell me you can't give me more than what I've been seeing. You just carried a 140-pound man across this whole field in your arms. Brock, I need you. God's gifted you with the ability of leadership. Don't waste it. Right? Can I count on you? Yes. Right? What is it, Jerry? Only 160.
I need that injected in my ears.
Yes.
Like that, but keep going.
So exactly is what I thought. Wouldn't you want that to be your willpower? Like just
Someone in your
constantly,
ear?
yeah, someone in your ear or in your own mind working in that manner where
I want solar
When
panels
you
on my
are,
home, but they're too expensive. I get
feeling
this comment all the
defeated.
time, and the good news is it's dead wrong.
when you're feeling defeated or something of that sort, right, that you just keep telling yourself. So he talks about willpower being short and not very long, and it goes in like spurts, right? So what would be something that we could do to ingrain that sort of in our head?
you wouldn't be pushing yourself. You would give up. Like, you can't tell yourself to do it, because
Mhm.
in reality, you get to a point where you can't even tell yourself to continue
Continue.
moving forward.
Mhm. Well, what about affirmations?
Yeah.
Affirmations, repeating them, repeating. And if it's not repeating them, it could be, I have songs for, I have a whole playlist of
Listening to
affirmations. Listen to them all the time. And then when you are feeling like, oh, nope, you start singing it or replaying it. However, I mean, the affirmation doesn't have to be something you stand in the mirror and say it to
No, right.
yourself or something of that. When we started doing affirmations, we were like at the lake and we were listening to these affirmations, and some of them kind of sounded silly, right?
Yes.
I am expensive. Remember one of them
Yes,
said
yes.
that, and I was like, what does that mean? So maybe I didn't relate to it, but I think that we could all find something like that to practice that. So that way, when we have a fall or we got to get a goal done, and we're just like, oh God, it's just
Even from like music, like the Rocky theme song,
Mhm.
like that sometimes is inspiring. Like when I work out, and I've been on, I listen to a lot of music that is specifically for working out. It's very energetic and stuff like that. And there's someone in the background saying, you can do it, push forward, so yeah, that's kind of like having someone in your ear
Yeah.
like that.
And I like the way, it's sort of, he explains it's sort of a muscle that you also have to train it, and you have to keep working on it, because it is very easy to not have any willpower and just be like, oh yeah, I know I got to do that, but not today.
One
You
of
put it
one
off.
of the things that he also said on there was about knowing when to use, when your willpower is the strongest. Do your biggest task at that time. That's when you want to use that strong willpower. And then that's like doing that one big thing. You do that first, get that done, because that's when you have your most willpower. And then, it starts to go lower and lower throughout the day because you've already used it up. It's like a gas tank.
Yeah.
It's full and then it gets empty.
Yes.
And then refuel.
Mhm. For instance, for us and health-wise, working out if we don't do it in the morning, it ain't getting done. That's where you have to apply it the most. And that would be our most important for the beginning of the day, because it's part of our health and a routine that we want to establish. So, but any more thoughts on the willpower or takeaways from it?
I don't know how many of y'all seen the movie or the series, The Making of Anne. That freaking lady had affirmation. She kept affirming herself that she was a freaking, she was gonna inherit all this money and
So
stuff.
she kept telling herself that she
And
was-
she really wasn't, but she made everybody else in the help believe it,
and that's probably what kept her going, because everyone
that-
believed that that's
yeah.
who she was.
So, ooh,
Making a man?
yeah,
Inventing
inventing Anne, sorry.
Well, she had, oh, I thought she meant, I was like, man, that's a good one. I'm gonna go watch that.
Inventing Anna.
Inventing Anna.
Yeah, she was freaking, she kept affirming herself that she was, this high.
I am expensive.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
definitely
And
thought
in
she
a
was
sense,
expensive.
that was her way of getting someone in her ear, because she told people that's who she was. People believed that's who she was. So she had those people rooting for her and pushing her and helping her. So, that was her way of going forward.
In the end, she was lying, I mean, really, really lying, and she ended up going to prison for it, but
She was still
she
positive.
kept-
She was still positive. She still thought she was that
she
person.
said all these affirmations and she made everybody else believe that.
Yeah.
Like that other show that you were watching on Hulu, that one that dropped out of Harvard.
Oh, yeah,
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth Holmes. The one with the
That's another
chronos
one.
or whatever that, yeah, that's for sure. But I mean,
And use those powers for good, not for evil.
exactly, yes, for sure. But I think that it can be very powerful.
One of the other things that just came to mind is when, you're talking about the video that we just seen together, is that you are your worst enemy in setting your limits. If you set those limits low, you're gonna meet those limits low. Just like the guy that, had the guy on his back, he set his limits at 50, and yet he went to the 100, the full 100 yards, We are our worst enemies for setting our own limits.
So he did, I just recapped on that. He did the toddler torture, the test, the willpower test, the marshmallow test. Who would you be in that scenario? Like, I probably would have chosen like the whole load of candy, like, you know what I mean? Like, who what is your personality like? I think it just depends. And, you know, the study they did with that was pretty interesting
Mhm.
with that marshmallow test.
Delayed gratification.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
lots of, I think a lot of people are,
Now,
they want it.
Now.
Like, I'd rather have the,
now.
you know, yeah.
the gratification
Mhm.
right now, this
Gratification
moment,
now.
I'm not gonna wait. Why? If I can have it now, why am I gonna wait till later?
Mhm.
Is the mentality.
And I think that falls back to that Catholic, I mean, Elizabeth Holmes, where she wanted success now.
Yeah.
And she was willing to lie to people and, you know,
Where she
fake
could have been
results.
more patient and maybe actually
She had power.
had something. She had something.
She had power
And
and
she had it.
she just needed more time
Yeah.
to really form her idea more,
Develop the
yeah,
product, yeah.
yeah, for sure. So that was, she was not one, she would have ate the marshmallow right there and then, so.
Patience is key.
Patience is key, definitely. So I think affirmations is a good way to exercise that willpower to form it. And one important thing that he said that when your willpower is gone, you fall back on your defaults. And so what are your defaults? And defaults can be, what habits do you already have in place? So I think that was an important thing. So he asked you, what are your defaults? So I think that's good about being self-aware and figuring out when you have this willpower, where do you really want to focus it, right? When you, yeah. So Julie, you have anything? Oh, sorry.
You're saying everything.
Okay. Yeah, so I thought exercising with affirmations to just get it into the habit. For me, it comes easier just to listen to the music. When I hear a song that has a great message, I immediately find it and add it to my list. And so my list is really long, and you know, I continue to listen to it. Sometimes when I'm feeling like today's not going right, I don't want to finish what I've got to do. I pull up that music and I just listen to it, and that's my way to do it. For some people, it could be something else, but also rewards, right? Like setting a goal. For instance, you want to buy a vehicle, you know, so that's your willpower to how many, you know, calls am I going to make a day? How many leads am I going to, you know, try to turn, and how much money do I want to make because I want to get to that car? Or for me also, when it comes to like staying on top of my fitness, is I'm going to go travel here. I schedule my vacation. Yeah, my trip is set. And that to me is also a reward from work, right? Because we can get overwhelmed with work. So I know, like, I know I'm working all this, and I know I'm taking a little longer and doing this, but I know I'm going to be able to just be on the beach with some Coronas and enjoy the reward that I've given myself, right? So, so rewards are definitely good. Eliana?
I mean, for me, the willpower is like, again, another sense of like motivation too. Like I think going hand in hand. I think it also keeps you in check, you know, like that whole willpower is like you said, the marshmallow experiment they did with the kids, like that's something I feel to this day, it's still something that I kind of do. It's like, man, yeah, because that's like you accomplish something and it's right there, right? And it makes you like almost comfortable. Does that make sense? And you're not actually like
Push yourself more.
keep pushing yourself. Yeah, you get that one and then you're like, yeah, okay, that felt good. And then like you lose your whole groove. That's how I kind of related when it came to real estate. It's like you work so hard on generating all these leads, and then you work with one and you finish that one deal and you kind of lose the momentum for the rest of them. And you know, some of them may fall through. And I don't know, if I just had that willpower and just put my head down and kept grinding, I feel like I could probably I guess convert more.
And that's where it comes into play on how, knowing how to use your willpower.
Right.
And knowing what takes your will. There's actually in the, I have the book pulled up, and it says examples of what takes your willpower. And it's implementing new behaviors, filtering distractions, resisting temptation, suppressing emotion, restraining aggression, suppressing impulses, taking tests, trying to impress others, coping with fear, and doing something you don't enjoy. Those are things that take away from you,
Right.
from the willpower, take your willpower. So those are things you may want to work on if you notice those habits.
Yeah.
Then don't allow those to take your willpower.
Right. And I really worked on that this week and it's been going really well. So I think the willpower is just strengthening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like a gas tank. You've got to, you know, it goes away and then you've got to fill your tank back up and it starts from new.
Yeah. And that part where you say where you fall out of the rhythm of things after something closes, that is that willpower to get back to your
Right.
time management
Right.
and time blocking. Like I have to do, I know I just closed this deal, but I shouldn't go spend the money.
Right.
I
I'm
gotta
so
get back
excited.
on there and start calling.
Right.
Yeah.
You're so excited. You're like, okay, fine. Yeah, and then you're like, oh shit, I have like 3 other clients.
Yeah.
3 other deals I gotta finish up. It's
Yeah.
like, man, if I would have just kept going and maybe knocked some more stuff out in that day,
Mhm.
would be way more ahead, but.
Yeah, yeah. I think one of the things that can definitely is what you said with suppressing emotions, because there's so many emotions that can happen, right? Like, clients make you mad or someone else makes you mad, and then you just carry that over. So I guess not suppressing it, but dealing with it.
Yeah.
Yep. Maybe having someone to talk to, or going and go exercise to get out,
release all
yeah,
those
to
emotions.
release
And
it.
everyone has a different way of dealing with emotions, and maybe venting or exercising or decompressing, just going away for a little short little while, taking a 5-minute nap.
Hopefully not drinking, right?
Yeah, hopefully not drinking.
Because that would fall on your default. If your
Exactly.
default is to drink,
Yes.
that's not good, yeah. Or binge eating or something like that, yeah. Dan, you want to share any on that?
Sure. You know, on the willpower thing, I thought that the marshmallow test was really interesting, that you know, you can have a treat, but you're only going to get one if you can't wait more than 15 minutes. And so in the test, it resulted that 7 in 10 couldn't wait, and that they generally could only make it about 3 minutes. Those that could wait, in a later follow-up in the test, they found that those that could wait fared much better in life, in their studies, and in everything really, that those that can wait and don't expect immediate gratification have a better way, or a more positive way of dealing with really all of life. And then one more thing, I was curious, at the very end of the video, I was having a hard time understanding what they were saying, but at the very end, when he had just crossed the goal line, the coach said, "Are you with me?" And then he said something, and I couldn't understand what he said. Does anybody recall what that was that he said at the very end?
Him being the most influential player on the team.
Right. He said that. It was the very last thing that the coach said, and I couldn't understand it. I'm sure it was important.
He just said, yeah, I'm with you.
Yes.
Or yes.
Is that all he said?
The kid, yeah.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. And the other thing I thought was very interesting was the Israeli test that they conducted, where the parole judges, they only had a couple of breaks during the day, a very grueling schedule. And so as it turned out, in the first thing in the morning, when their willpower was strong, that the parole candidates had the best chance of actually being paroled, up to 65%. But as that morning went along to the first break, those chances went almost to zero. And then with a short break, it started over again. Great chances for being paroled, and straight down to zero after a few hours. I think, and there again, that's talking about going back to your default position that most people will when they become exhausted and when their willpower is low. So I think these are great ideas for utilizing your willpower when it's strong, first thing, and then carrying on, and then maybe taking a little break and recharging and going at it again. So I think there's a lot of great things in this book.
Yeah, so that, I would say
That's
that's
all I
another one. Yeah, to add to affirmations, rewarding yourself and recognizing that you have to take time off, that you
Right.
need breaks, that you're just, sometimes you feel mentally exhausted, like I just need some time off, or otherwise you may fall to some negative defaults and you don't want to. Yeah.
Right.
Claude, any input from you? Did you read the book, Claude?
Yes, I did.
Ah, yes.
Well, overall, you already said we need affirmation and avoid distractions. To me, affirmation, a lot of times I hesitate a lot. And well, just like those are things that I already know that are my defaults. I hesitate in many things, but little steps that I have given, they motivate me to keep going. Like I say, I'm here on the real estate. Like I told you before how I started, and I say, if I pass this test, maybe I can move to the next one. I was hesitating to go and say like, well, maybe I can't, but if I don't try, I wouldn't know, I wouldn't be here. So I think like little steps that maybe the reward is what the answer or the results of your work, and then keep going. That just give little steps. For me, it will work. And affirmation, maybe on that, I can use you guys. I don't know if it's related to inspiration. You guys are experienced realtors, and I have great respect for you. I know you work a lot, but I see, like I mentioned before to you, Robert and Erica, like you give time to yourselves. And I mentioned, you mentioned a couple of times that you give time to your family. So it's like, yeah, you reward yourself. I saw you yesterday when having some time with your kids. So it's like reward. You work so hard, but you give yourselves time for your family. That's a rewarding thing. And so you inspire me, and I'm here. I keep trying.
Awesome, well, good, go ahead. Priscilla, you want to put in?
I just feel like it's everything too. You have to have like a lot of self-discipline.
Everything.
Yeah, everything, that makes sense.
Whatever y'all said.
Yeah, whatever.
So remember that this self-discipline, because there was a whole chapter on living a disciplined life, does it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's true.
so it said that you don't have to be successful, right? So there's just certain things that you should be doing to help you, but it doesn't mean you have to be disciplined all the way across the board.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
But creating the habits that will increase your success.
yeah, the
So
20,
you
the
have to-
80-20 paradox, yeah.
Yeah. Being able to do those few habits,
Mhm.
do them right, master them.
Mhm.
So that way you create the success for yourself.
A lot of
down
the
the
stuff that they say in this book, Donald Trump says in his book. And so,
Oh, really?
yeah, so it shows that like, you know, you can study successful people and, you know, understand their habits and see how they did it, because we all have the same, we can all be successful if we
Yeah.
really wanted to.
Yeah.
So it's just, again, you know, having a little power, you know, having boundaries. So, yeah.
Yeah. What would you say in his book, when you're reading it, from what you've read, what would you say is his willpower? Like, how does he activate that? Or
He's just always thinking about how to find a deal, how to make a deal, and networking. He was like, you know, I'm not one for small talk. So I don't really know. He's like basically just a rock, you know, he kind of does things in a routine. So whenever he was going out and mingling and socializing with the other people he was trying to make a deal with, you know, they were having a drink and having a good time. And he was like, I'm not like that. I am focused and I know what I want to go get it. So, yeah. And then he said something about too, like kind of like a gas tank. I was trying to remember what he was saying from the book about that, because I wanted to relate it back to that, but it's similar. It is very similar.
Yeah. Okay. Any more points from anyone else on the willpower? Robert?
No.
So I don't know how you guys would use this, but like one thing my dad always did when he would train me in like the gym is like, whenever you feel like giving up, push for 5 more, because you're not done. It's just your mentality that's like, no, I'm done. But he would always force me to like, if you think you're done and you think you're done at your set of 12 and you're like ready to give up, push for 5 more. And then it was easy to do it, obviously, when he said it, but when you're like working out or you're in the moment, you're kind of like, oh, I'm done. This is enough. This completes a set. And he's like, no, push for more. So, I mean, yeah. And then like, obviously you give yourself a break and then you realize I can do more. So then he'd make me go heavier. So, I mean, I don't know how you guys would implement that, but just, yeah, like if you think you're going to stop or you think you're done or you're out of energy, you can just keep going, give yourself a small break and then go heavier. So I guess for y'all, it would be like, if you think you're done, give yourself a little break and then go stronger on your like marketing or calls or whatever you do.
Yeah, 5 more calls.
Right.
Well said, Julie.
For sure. Okay, so now moving on to the balanced life part, and he starts right away with saying that that's a myth. And I know everybody's trying to always balance work, life, everything else, but it makes a lot of sense if you see it from his point of view and what he's stating, that you try to balance everything and you spread yourself too thin, and then ultimately nowhere is really successful. You know, it could be in your personal life and then work and then wherever else. If you're volunteering somewhere, if you're giving everybody a little bit, but not I guess your full attention to each thing, then he says it's a recipe for basically getting nothing done, and it's failure. So it kind of goes back to the same thing about multitasking. I feel like it's related to trying to multitask and balance everything in your life. So what do you guys think about that?
Kind of get confused on that because it's like basically everything that we've been doing all the time. Me personally, like trying to balance everything, and seems like I don't get all the things together, and I'm failing at everything because I don't focus on one thing. So basically that we need to figure it out. And at the end, they say this balanced life doesn't exist. That's a myth that we need to counterbalance, but that's the trick to learn that.
Yeah. To counterbalance. I thought of something when he was saying that. I feel like it's back when we're in school and we have math, we have reading, we have writing, we have English, we have social study. It feels like we have to balance all those subjects. And it seems, when you think about it, it's hard, but what do they do is because when you're in period 1 and it's math, then that's what you focus on at that time. You're giving your full attention to math, right? When it's in social studies and you're giving, that's what you're studying. They're not integrating math, or you're not trying to do your math, but you're trying to read charts and do the social studies part. So I think that's what this whole myth about it is what he's trying to say, that if you are with your family, then you should be with your family and you shouldn't be on the phone. And that's what we're guilty of, right? Because we're trying to still do our business and our work. But it's okay. I put him on blast because he puts me on blast all the time too. So it's a default, unfortunately.
I tell her, I don't tell the world.
So, but yes, I just found it so funny that his phone, put our phones away, and I see him in the phone, I'm like, oh, I forgot about the watch. Where do you get all your messages and everything right there too? It's like, oh, great.
Robert was
That's
cheating.
Yeah.
Robert was cheating all the way.
All the way. And honestly, when we take our day off on Thursday, we try to catch ourselves not to do that, because it's really easy to get distracted. And that's what he's talking about. You know, you're getting distracted. And then you're not focusing anymore on what you were supposed to do from this time to this time, right? So I'm not saying that you can't do multiple things in one day, because people do. So for us in our business, being self-employed, it is harder because we don't have an 8 to 5 job. Now we can make it a job that we go from 9 to 6, and then after 6, we don't do any more work. A lot of realtors and a lot of successful realtors, they do that. They block and they no more calls, do not disturb, because I'm spending the time with my children and so forth. Or if they have to make sure to, work out, put those things on your schedule first. And I think it's what's the guy, Gary Green, I believe, no, Gary Williams, not Keller, the other guy. He's no, not Gary Vee, but he's another broker that I had followed before. And he says, if you put in your schedule, first goes in the most important. And to him, it was his health, his family. He says, I schedule those, and then I schedule the rest of it around it. But even if we have that schedule, when you're actually there, that's the part that really matters. Because if I scheduled my time from 10 to 2 to be here, but then I'm still working, I'm not actually, paying attention to my grandkids or my kids or whoever. I'm not engaged here. I'm not present or in the moment.
That's what takes willpower to not answer that
Oh
phone
my
call
God.
and not respond to that text.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that I remember from that chapter is,
And that takes away from your willpower tank. Sorry.
the biggest thing that I remember from that chapter is he made the perfect example, you got 5 balls you're juggling
Yes.
and you're bouncing them all. The one that you drop is worth, because that one is a rubber ball and they'll bounce back. But all your other 4 balls are made out of glass, so you don't want to drop those
Yes.
balls. That's the biggest one that stood out to me.
Yes.
And it's different for different people. We're all in different stages of life. We obviously have kids. Some of them don't have kids, you know, like their balance is different from what we have to balance.
For sure. And I thought it was really, it's health, it's family, friends, money, and integrity, right? And so the only ball that's rubber is money. And I do truly believe that. You can always make more money, but you can't make any more time with your child because it's gone. Or if you haven't taken care of your health, you're on medication. So now, you know, it's too late to fix it. So definitely given the time, dedicating the time to those. And then there was this one meme that I looked up that I thought was pretty funny. Let me share the screen.
It's never too late.
It's not, and I'm gonna say something after your little clip.
Yeah, and while she's bringing up that meme, I'll tell you, one of the biggest things that I know me and my wife did, we made sure we're always there for the kids. And we never put them to the side, so that's one thing
And
that,
that, again, that was.
that I think we did well.
And that again was teamwork and balancing, because I was able to be 100% while he did what he had to do, and that's what made it successful. You know, we balanced it out, you know.
Yeah,
So,
that's
I've
great.
seen that.
yeah, I've seen that one, and that brings to mind, I don't know where, it might have been this book, or I've read somewhere, or somebody told me, where did I see this? I think it was this book.
It was in this.
The lady was talking about that, her mom
Oh, the
had saved up
cancer.
all this money.
Yes,
Was it this book?
yes, she died of cancer.
And she died of cancer. She never got to make any of
Yes.
her things. They were
She
all in
saved all
deposit.
her fabrics
Yeah.
and stuff because she wanted to use those later in her life.
In her life.
And she was not.
Yeah, and that stuck in my mind.
She
a lot.
focused too much on working. and-
That's why we're gonna go see the Astros 3 times this year.
That's right.
I think what
Yeah.
Peo just said, it really stuck with me as well. And this is something that a story I remember, probably 25 years ago when I worked in car sales. There was a man that worked at a sister company of our dealership. It was Performance Truck, and he was the parts manager, and he had been there for 30 years. And he drove the same little S10 pickup, which he maintained beautifully. And then at the end of his time, he traded in that truck. He had been saving for a new Corvette for a long time. And he traded in his little truck, I remember, and he got his new Corvette. And then 3 months later, he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And that has always stuck with me. It just, you know, because life is not fair. But, you know, to take all of that time and spend all of that effort to be able to get his dream, and it was all over like that in just a few months. He was dead, and 6 months later. So anyway, I don't want to bring anybody down, but that's something that affected me personally, and it was directly out of this book, really. Sad. You put things off and then you never get to get that time back.
Well, that's a really good example, man, because how many times do we not hear about those people that retired 2 years into their retirement, they died?
Right.
You know, they have all this money. Enjoy your money as you go along towards retirement.
Yeah, that's
Right.
exactly what like we were talking about last night, Benny and Eliza, because we were planning our trip. But we're planning our trips here for the upcoming baseball stuff. And then Benny was like, or Eliza, one of them was like, yeah, you make the money, just spend the money. It's gonna come right back. It's gonna come right back. We have to enjoy what we're working for. Why work? Yes, no, but that was, but we were talking about that because Ronnie said something. And Benny's like, yeah, that's why I use all my money, because I buy all my stuff, you know.
It was me or Evan.
Yeah, so we were.
We're like that with the money.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, you do. I mean, you're working so hard, enjoy it. What are you
Yeah.
working so hard for?
My
Use
grandma
it.
told me that el dinero es para gastarme.
It's like-
That's awesome, yeah.
Vámonos.
So Because I feel one of my defaults was completely opposite. It was, I've always heard my siblings say, so-and-so spends so much money, they're always spending, and my mother as well, you know, she worked and worked. Her balance was, she had no balance, I will tell you. She worked a lot. And so for me, it was like, oh, I guess I shouldn't be spending money, you know, but that is not correct, because
it's knowing
you don't
how
get to
to,
travel,
yeah.
you don't get to do, you know.
But being responsible with it, traveling and being with your family is a good thing. There's nothing wrong with doing that.
Yeah.
Now, if you're not paying your house note and you're going out and spending all your money, okay.
And priorities are
Priorities
out there.
There's a
Yeah.
problem there. So it's just learning
Right.
how and when, yeah.
And I
Yeah.
try and preach that to my parents, because, you know, it's like, I'm all about that, being, you know, saving my money, but also being spontaneous with it, and, you know, spending it on adventures and not material stuff. And so I tell my parents, like, you never know what can happen. Like, go and do something now, go travel, go take a road trip or something. And my mom is very open to it, but my dad, he spent so much money when he was in his younger days that nobody taught him how to be responsible with money. So now he realizes how much he threw away. So now he's stickler about his money. He's like, I just want to invest it. I don't want to spend it. Like, dude, like, at least take us bowling. Shoot, even $100. Like, he's very like that. And I'm like, you don't know what you know. We might not have a hand tomorrow to go bowling. So who knows? Like, just spend it. Where does all this money go when you're gone? Where
Exactly.
Yeah, anywhere. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, for us, it'll go to my kids.
Don't spend too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm a true believer too about that. You don't take your possessions with you, but you do take your memories, and that's what really ultimately, and what you leave behind, because they don't care.
I think your kids will remember more memories than money.
Exactly.
In my opinion.
Well, I don't know. Deanna's been asking me if we have a will yet.
Oh my God.
Trying to travel so much.
Oh,
Keep protected. It's coming from a good intention. Yeah. I tell my parents the same thing. I'm like, I need to prepare y'all's will. Not that I have any of these, but maybe.
like, just have that ready for me, please.
I took a will class, last testament and will, and something else, other class. And the guy was very, very good. He's an attorney. And he said he's willing to do a class for us and stuff for free and stuff, but he was really good. It opens your eyes to a lot of the stuff that can happen if you don't leave a will. You just leave a big old mess for everybody else.
Yeah. That's what it is, really.
And he had a lot of good ideas. He said you could set up a living will, and where if you have a house, he said, as soon as I die, the house gets sold and these funds go here. He says, otherwise, if you don't have that set up, you have to go through all these other legal proceedings, which. Yeah.
Yeah.
Time waits for no one.
Exactly. All right.
Here, I'll give you another
Speaking of
example.
time, okay, go.
I'll give you another example of life is very short. I was at an open house last week with Bertha, and there was what's his name? I forgot his name. A good friend of hers that I always see at events. He was there as well, was his assistant, and the assistant just made a comment. I've seen her before, and I said, hey, hi, how are you? I think her name was Allison. And she made the comment that she had left her daughter at home, and she said she was like 12, 13, or 14, but apparently she must have another daughter. After that day, 2 days later, her other daughter, that's 22, passed away
Oh,
in a motorcycle accident. Passed away in a motorcycle accident. She was driving her motorcycle over Barker Cypress in 290, going too fast, didn't control the bike, and passed away. I mean, how do you move on from that? You know, it's hard. It's hard. So spend your time with your kids.
For
You know?
sure.
With your family, with your loved ones, with whoever's important to you.
Find your balance, or not balance. Focus on the most important. Yeah. So, okay. Any
Jill,
more?
you said?
Oh, yeah, it's back to the comment that you said, it's never too late for anything. And I'll say this, I'll use my dad as an example. He was on asthma medication, high blood pressure medication, and he was pre-diabetic, and he gave up drinking. And he works out all the time, but he just gave up one thing. He gave up drinking. He's been sober for 4 months. He's lost 50 pounds and the doctor took all his medication away.
Wow.
So he focused on the health,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, and then improved it. So yeah, you're right.
It's never too late. You just gotta, and he always works out. Like it's working out is not an issue for him, but it was the drinking, the way he ate. He started eating cleaner. He would send me pictures of his food. And I mean, it's not hard for somebody that you just got to get back into the rhythm because my dad used to do bodybuilding stuff. So he just got back into the rhythm of it, ate clean, took out the alcohol, lost 50 pounds. Doctor took him off medication. So it's like, it's you wanting something and being motivated. To him, his motivation is being able to see Layla graduate.
Yeah.
That's his motivation.
Aw,
Mhm.
yeah. That's awesome.
And it takes a lot of willpower to do that.
It does. It does.
It takes a lot of willpower to get back to a good habit that you had going, that you stopped for some reason, whether it be,
Mhm.
you know, working out, but then you go on vacation and then you come back and then it's like finding that willpower to get back into the rhythm of things.
And we just talked about
Yes,
this.
and then the more you think about it, the more you kind of like psych yourself out. If you think negatively or positively, you have to push yourself to go. And then if you think negatively, it's like you're gonna procrastinate to another day. Oh, not today, tomorrow, and then it just makes it harder and harder to get back into that habit.
Even with your work habits, not, you know, not just, but even with your work habits, you get in a rhythm and you're doing great. And then all of a sudden, something interferes or something brings you down and you stop. And it's hard to get back on that track.
Like if you time block something for something else and then you answer a phone call
Yeah.
and you just get.
Oh, it throws you
Yeah.
off, yeah. I think good willpower, real good willpower is when you're on vacation, you still go to that gym. Because they have gyms in these resorts.
We have- You did?
I have to get a pump going on at the beach.
We have friends that go. they're like,
Yeah, even if they are not drinking, they'll still wake up. They won't get up early, obviously, but they'll still go to the gym.
I go before the
They'll go like,
beach.
dude, I can't go.
But see, they want to keep it going. And scenery to switch up your workout though, because when me and Carlos, like when we went to Arizona, we were more so enjoying just like how peaceful it is out there. But we had it in our minds, we still want to work out. So like we did hikes and we did the hikes for like 2 hours. So it was like we still implemented a form of working out or moving your body, not just, you know,
Yeah.
enjoying the freedom out there.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about that. I don't work out at home, much less on vacation.
But it was beautiful. So like, for instance, you guys like going onto beaches. So it's like, go for a walk down the beach or jog. And it's a different scene, but you still get your workout, you know, just switch
We
it up a
work
little.
out lifting. We can work out lifting, lift a taco and lift a drink.
Awesome. Well, let's move on to the last chapter. Anybody want to chime in on the balance life, Miss? Okay, so let's,
Just the last thing,
Uh-huh.
he said, when you're supposed to work, when you're supposed to play, don't mix.
yeah, that I completely agree with.
I like that.
Yes.
And it is a balancing act. It's just not a balancing act where you'll ever be balanced. It just means it's going up and down. It's not gonna ever fall into place.
Mhm. And not to go so long into one.
Yeah,
thing.
don't make it go down this way all the way,
Yeah.
or don't make it go down, yeah.
Yeah, which makes sense too. for sure.
The one thing that has stuck to me is like Comadre said, that not everything is gonna be on balance. But the main idea here is to keep the priority, all the attention. So it doesn't matter the other ones that go like sideways, as long as we keep taking care of those two. But the main thing, it gets more of our attention. So I think that's the counterbalancing there.
Counterbalance, a counterbalance, that's for sure.
Last chapter,
Yeah, bad is,
big is bad.
big is bad, okay. So I didn't put any notes down on this one because it was I re-listened to it and then I didn't write down my notes. But anybody else want to share their notes on that one?
Yeah.
I could tell you a few that I took.
Okay.
Big is bad is a lie, of course. If you fear big success, you'll either avoid it or sabotage your efforts to achieve it. Let's see, there was the thing. Thinking informs actions and actions determine outcomes. To live great, you have to think big. Think big, don't order from the menu, act bold. And I think, oh, megaphobia was a word that he brought up, the fear of big. So anyway, sorry about that. Go ahead.
That's what, I mean, what you said, that's my same notes. Thank you, copy. Yeah, I got a couple other things. Says, big bad, always think big bad. No, if you think big bad, small thinking rules today. Then big bad, small thinking rules today. I'm scattered. It said, I had big bad, small thinking rules today. Y'all gonna have to figure that out.
Okay, let me get you here, compadre. What you built today, what's that to me is like what we built today will make an impact tomorrow. Well, any decision that we take, so make the right choices and think big. Think big, because like you mentioned earlier, if we think low, we're gonna stay lower because we're not aiming high and we're gonna get comfortable being low. So again, guys, I think it's good that we have these groups, even though at times we read or not read, but just by being here, it's like put us together and motivate us to, keep going. And thank you for doing this.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right, I have two notes that I can read that I understand. Okay, one, it says, thinking big allows ideas to come out of you. Because when you're thinking big, you generate all these ideas. And then another one is big thinking always is good. Just add small boxes to check.
The small boxes.
Right.
Small boxes, yeah.
So those are my two that I understood.
So thinking big is not bad. And I think that applies to when you're setting your goals. So don't set just a little goal. Like Pedro said, don't limit yourself. I mean, that's your main obstacle is your own mentality. Think bigger. If you want to make a certain amount of money, maybe think, I want to make more than that, right? Set your target higher. But I think sometimes people, they do get afraid to say, no, I can't do that. I'm not going to be able to do that. Is it going to take work to achieve a bigger goal? It is, but with the steps, small boxes, you can get there. So never be afraid to set that goal as high as you want it. Yes, there will be, obstacles and things that you may have to adjust, but.
And that's the phrase I was reading right now. The key to success isn't all the things you do, but it's the handful of things we do well. And that's how you get to the big thing.
To the big things. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Filling in those little boxes
And then, yeah,
to build
more.
up.
You want to share?
I think that's pretty powerful. Actions make or become outcome. Actions become outcome. So if you do the right actions, outcomes could become great.
I wrote down a note on that as well, Robert. The only actions that become springboards to succeeding big are those informed by big thinking to begin with. So I guess what they're saying is you have to have that opinion to think that you can do big things. Before you start doing these big things, you just have to set your goals high, like Erica said.
Yeah, for sure.
Self-affirmation will work.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
They had a whole little. It was never meant to.
Yeah, it was never meant to support you standing there. It was meant for you to keep
The
going.
rung of the ladder
The rung of
was
the ladder.
never meant to rest upon, but only to hold a man's foot along enough to enable him to put enable him to put the other somewhat higher. So that one leg was balancing to get this one up higher.
Yeah.
I like that.
That was, I like that part, that chapter.
Yes. And going back to the thinking, like Elizabeth Holmes, and I mean, she thought she had a big idea for sure. She thought big and even bigger as she was trying to bring her group in together, that it was great. It was, but she dropped that ball of integrity and it shattered.
She was good.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. Well, any more on big or fat? No?
Yeah, I said mainly everything. I mean,
Yeah.
I just think that you keep your dreams high and chase something.
Because
Step
even
by
if,
step,
yeah,
you're
because
gonna
even
make
if
it
you
to
don't get to
Alex,
that
you
big level,
can't
you're
use
still
percentage
going bigger and bigger.
Yeah, it says, if you set a goal so far above what you want, you'll be building a plan to guarantee your original goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna get what you want.
Always go above and beyond.
Kind of like shoot for the moon,
Yeah.
aim for the stars.
In the other book, he says that most people think small because they are afraid of success, afraid of making decisions, and afraid of winning. And which is true because, you know, fear holds us back from doing a lot of things. Like when you see people jump out of an airplane, they're scared at first, but when you see them in the sky, they're like, oh, it's not too bad. Like, if
Yeah.
I can, like, I did it, I can do this. Like, I was really just scared, just letting go of that bad habit or
Just, yeah.
But also
Yeah.
you, when
Let
you
go.
feel like you don't want to do something because you're scared to fail, you have to remember that failure is also a teaching tool. You have to fail to succeed. It has to happen. It may not, but if it does, it's a
Grow.
definite teaching tool and you grow from it. Yeah.
Makes yourself aware of where you failed and how do you improve it.
But fear also comes from control.
I like that part. I like that part that knowing that failing is okay. It's part of growing. And at times it's like we're so personally me, I'm like, no, I doubt myself. And then if I don't do it, it's fear. So it's okay. Knowing that failure is part of growing and it's okay, that will stuck with me. That will help me.
Yes. And going back to the being fearful of winning, it sounds weird, right? Why would you be afraid to win? But you do as you grow. And something also in this chapter is that he says that as you go big, you become big. So you do change. And how many times have we seen movies where it's a certain person that started off with a group of people, and then as they progress, they kind of disconnect for them because they have grown big. Their mindset is different now from them, and they're not growing together. And so you do leave people behind, but you have to in order to progress up and go up, you know.
Yeah,
So-
they can hold you down sometimes, like an anchor. If you allow it,
Yes.
yeah.
And that's why they say, don't forget the little people. When you go, right? And then
Yeah.
when you go, oh, you're gonna
But
become
in
rich. or
reference
whatever.
to don't forget the little people, I gotta give credit to the little guy that was on top of this football player.
Oh.
It took him balance. It took him strength to sit there that long and hold on. And that's the comment I didn't hear when he said, coach, and the coach said, what, Jeremy, or whatever. his
Oh,
name
he
was.
says, I weigh
I went to
160.
it 160.
Oh.
I went
140.
But that was the balance of both of them, though,
Exactly.
because, you know, like,
It took his strength to help him. It was both. So they have to give credit to the little guy too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
For sure. Awesome. Okay. Well, I think anybody else any more notes? Comment?
No, before we leave though, before everybody hangs up on the book, I do have one thing that I want to, that me and Erica talked about. When y'all have questions, guys, regarding contracts, can you copy me and her on the same text? That way me and Erica are on the same page when we're talking about and answering. That way she's not getting a question and I'm not getting a question, and you know, we're on the same page, me and Erica. So if y'all have questions regarding anything, copy me and her. That way we're both chimed in on what's going on. Instead of me
Okay.
having to repeat to Erica, hey, this is going on, this is what I said or whatever. All right, just going forward.
And then next week I do have on the schedule, it's called SWOT. It just says SWOT. It doesn't say anything more, but I'm going to go back and add some more details. And it really comes back to this, to analyzing the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So once you know this, then you know where to focus that willpower on. So I just figured this morning, when I heard this, I was like, oh, it goes straight into what I want to talk about, which is the SWOT analysis. So, and if you've never done a SWOT analysis or heard of it, I'll explain it a little bit more and I'll send some more details on it. Businesses do it all the time because you have to be self-aware of what's going on around you and how to improve, and you know, how to be prepared, how to be proactive and not reactive. So I'll be putting that information out there for next week. So, but before we go, we're gonna sing happy birthday to Priscilla.
Happy
Birthday to you. Happy birthday
dear
to
Sarah.
you.
Happy
Happy
birthday
to you.
What if I just went?
Gordita.
Oh, wow, thanks, guys.
That was the invite. Man, I wish I would have joined us. We got donuts, kolaches, and mimosas.
You gotta eat that cold stack.
Y'all can stop by later. Y'all need to pick
Yeah, pick up a donut, kolache.
Jim, 3
Oh,
days.
you'll be all right. It's your birthday weekend.
Willpower.
My brother,
He's
told
gonna
me one time that it takes, this is how he stopped, I still do it. But he said it takes you 6 months to a year to digest that donut.
Oh
with all
my
the sugar in it.
Oh, good.
Okay, guys, enjoy your donuts. Happy birthday, Priscilla. Have a nice weekend. Bye.
Bye, Dad.
Bye, thank you. Happy birthday, Priscilla.
He's saying happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Priscilla.
I didn't know we were gonna talk about the.
Floor already got off, but I think we'll do that next Tuesday. After the SWAT, we've got to talk about our home buying seminar that we're putting together. Okay. All right.
Bye, everyone. Bye-bye. Have a great weekend.